Hey guys, Misty here. So I was actually doing some frag runs one day, and one of my friends asked me how many floor 6 runs it would take to get to combat 60. It was a completely random question, and I kinda shrugged it off, but I actually got pretty curious later. I've known that floor 6 has been really good for combat XP, just because of how high the XP gain is that the enemies in the boss room give you. So I actually took some time to find out how many floor 6 runs it would take to get from combat 1 to combat 60. Alright, so first off, to calculate this, we actually need to find out how much XP it takes to get to combat 60 from combat 1. And I was looking around, looking through the forums, looking through the Skyblock wiki, and I actually found a skill XP chart that a user named OwOPanda made. Thank you very much, by the way. And using this chart, we can conclude that we need 111,672,425 combat XP to completely max out our combat skill. Now that we have our goal, we need to find out how much XP the dungeon itself will yield. Now, the calculations will not be perfect because I'm not really going to include the XP you get from the dungeon mobs. It's always going to be super inconsistent just because of the nature of the dungeons are randomized. The rooms are randomized, the mobs are randomized. You're going to get different XP values each time you clear the floor. I'm only going to account for the blood room and the boss room itself because the XP there is consistent and it's a lot easier to calculate, as opposed to just getting a bunch of averages. The blood room in floor 6 spawns 17 blood room enemies and 1 boss. Each blood room mob killed gives 312.3 combat XP, and one of the blood mobs, the parasite, spawns 3 silverfish, each giving 16.7 combat XP. The blood room boss gives 417.6 combat XP. And if you multiply the XP the blood room mobs give with the amount of them they are, and you also add up the boss and parasite XP, we get a total of 5,776.8 combat XP. In the boss room, each terracotta gives 432 combat XP per kill. There are initially 16 terracottas, and in every test that I've done, I've killed a total of 32 of them before Satan's patience meter ran out. If you multiply 432, the combat XP per terracotta, with 32, the number of terracottas you kill, you get 13,824 combat XP. Next are the golems. Each golem grants 4,320 combat XP per kill, and there are 6 golems. If you multiply it out, it totals to 25,920 combat XP. Lastly are the giants. They grant 5,760 combat XP per kill, and since there are 4 of them, this totals out to 23,040 combat XP. If you add everything up, you will get 5,777 XP in the blood room, and 62,784 XP from the boss room, for a total of 68,561 combat XP per run. We then divide 116,672,425 with our new number, and we get 1,701.7, the amount of floor 6 runs until you reach combat 60. That's nice and all, but this is technically impossible because you can't even do dungeons until you're combat 15. The requirement of combat 15 is 67,425 combat XP from combat 1, so if we subtract that from 116,672,425, we get 116,605,000 combat XP. I'm not going to do the math because it totals out to 1,700, which is literally just 1 run less than what we had before. And this is also assuming you're somehow Catacombs 19 and you're still combat 15. Which is technically possible if you run the healer class, because your class milestones don't really require you to deal damage. We can go further though. The legendary wolf pet increases your combat XP gain by 30% at max level. If we take our combat XP per floor and multiply that by 1.3, we get 89,129.3 combat XP. Divide this by our total that we need to get to combat 60, and we get 1,308.3 floor 6 runs. That's a difference of about 393 floor 6 runs. Also, assuming Derpy was active and you had a legendary wolf pet, the 30% combat XP buff and the universal 50% skill XP buff would total to an 80% bonus to your combat XP gain. To find out how many runs it would take with Derpy and a legendary wolf pet active, we do the same exact thing we did before, but instead of multiplying 1.3, we multiply 1.8. This totals to 123,409.8 combat XP. If we divide this by our total we need to get to combat 60, we get 945 floor 6 runs. This is the lowest possible amount of floor 6 runs it would take to get to combat 60 from 15. Although the practicality of this is debatable, it was really fun trying to find everything out, and the total of X6 runs actually came out to be a lot lower than what I had actually anticipated. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, subscribe and like if you enjoy the content, and most importantly, have a wonderful day. Thank you.